everyone, it's Ada from Poison Rock, and today I have the pleasure to have with me Dimitri Keiski. Of course, they know you at the moment with your project, the band, but we're here to talk about you. So first of all, how are you, Dimitri?
Who am I?
As how are you? How are you? As first, of course, I have to ask you how are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm fine. I'm really good. This year started really good, really great. So I have a lot of projects
Oh,
where I'm as a guitarist and as a singer
yeah.
here in Finland. So this year started really good.
This 2025 already started with good. Yeah, because of course there are already been released the two album and in 2022 and 2023. So there are some work behind the scenes so to be done. So we can say that we can see in this 2025 a new record came out.
Hmm. Yes. So we're hoping that
Okay.
our third album, the Dimitri Keisky Band album, is gonna be released to 2025. Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
the story starts a long journey, I think, go because like you mentioned, you've been
Yeah.
dancing since the last 10 years. So of course for me spontaneous asking who is Dimitri? Like how you started your journey into the music. And especially when it was, like that moment when you said, this is my job, this is my path.
Yeah. Well, I'm born and raised in Stockholm, in Sweden, and as a kid I was into sports. I
Okay.
was into track and field, long jump,
Okay.
and into boxing.
Okay.
So yeah. But I listen to music a lot. All
Oh,
my friends, my childhood friends, listen to hip hop, rap, but
oh,
I was listening to blues and rock and roll. So I was like this outsider.
yeah.
Yeah. So but I remember when we were because my parents are from Finland, so
Okay.
we spend our vacations in Finland. So my father bought a cassette tape.
Okay. Yeah.
To, we could listen in the car some Finnish music, like from the 70s.
Okay.
And I was about like 12 years old, 13 years old. And it was something in that sound that spoke to me. And I just came to the conclusion that I want to be a musician.
Okay.
And if I want to make music, I want it to sound like this.
Of course, I
So
want to ask you who was this Finnish musician?
yeah, it was a Finnish singer called Danny.
Okay.
Yeah, Danny, and he was a huge. He brought he brought the show to Finland, like big concerts and
Well,
it,
that's
it yeah you can. He was like the Elvis Presley of Finland.
no, but
he
that's
had big
yeah.
he had big shows and all his albums they had a really great sound and I fell in love with the sound. It was
Yeah.
warm and it was real. And I thought about if I want to be a musician, I want to do music. If I
Like
do rock or whatever I do, I want it to sound like that.
like him. Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, uh, when I moved to Finland and found these guys I'm playing with today, I could finally make that happen
Okay,
to
so
create sound. Yeah,
so
yeah,
before the Dimitri Keski band, so before
yeah,
say, you released previously some music by your own. Okay.
yeah. I released my first solo album in 2000. I think it was 2012.
Okay. So it was
Yeah,
10 years ago before the first album.
yeah. And then I played in several bands. I played keyboard, and I was the second singer on a power metal band called Insania Stockholm.
Okay.
Uh, and then I was with a singer-songwriter called Tom Levin from Stockholm. I played piano on his album. So I released and or I mean I was in bands that released
Yeah.
albums. before I released my own music.
But of course, it became spontaneous to me to ask you, since you, like you said, guitar, singing, and also piano.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you learn that by yourself, or you took, I don't know, went to some music school or took lesson by someone, or just no, both?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I learned the instruments by myself,
Okay.
but I went to yeah, I learned the instruments before I went to a music school.
Okay.
So, but I studied singing when I
Oh,
went to music school. So the guitar and the piano I learned
by yourself. I mean, it's not
by
easy.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
let's say that you went to the music school just to perfection a little bit the theory of the, let's say, the instrument
yeah,
and the
yeah,
vocals.
yeah. But actually, guitar is the thing. I really fell in love with the guitar. I don't call myself a guitarist. I'm a singer who loves the guitar.
You're good with
and
guitar, and I love
uh,
your guitar. And I want to ask you about
oh,
the gear, because it's really cool as a guitar.
oh, thank thank you.
Yeah.
So and the piano came in the picture when one of my classmates needed a pianist at the wedding.
Yeah.
So it was my first paid job. So I was like, wow, this is great.
I
I
can make out of living of it.
yeah. So I started playing piano. So I played several years. I played only the piano, and the guitar just waited in
There.
the corner. So finally, when I moved to Finland, I picked the
Okay.
guitar up again and started
And of
playing.
course, and now of course we came to the Dimitri case. So how you are, because of course I don't think you went to a pub or somewhere, just okay, let's have a beer, and everyone was there like, hi, let's make a band.
Oh, oh. No, it was. I had a couple of friends, childhood
Okay.
friends, who came from musicians' families.
Okay.
Their parents were musicians, and they had a rehearsal room where we used to go and play. So yeah. As time went by, I learned playing more and joined these guys.
Okay.
And we started playing in parties that were our friends had, and they needed a band. So
Yeah.
and then it grew with time. So
So
yeah.
of course, like it's nice also to see to say who is involved in your project.
Mm,
So let's
yeah,
introduce these two other guys.
yeah, yeah. It was it was if we're talking about the Dimitri Keisky band.
Yeah, yeah,
So I went to, so I learned I met Samuli,
yeah.
and we started talking music. We were at the jam session at the friend's birthday party, and Samuli and I and the bass player, we played Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child.
Voodoo
Voodoo Child.
Child.
Yeah, and then it sounded so good, so we started thinking about, let's put a band together and play music like this. And then we needed a bass player, and Samuli knew a bass player from Lahti. And I said, yeah, let's try him. And I remember the first rehearsal. It was 2019 in April.
Okay.
The first song we played, it was like, yeah, this is it.
That
This
was
is
so that
yeah.
was the second he joined. You knew that both of you knew that that was the right guy for as a band.
Yeah, and everything clicked. The thoughts, the thinking
Yeah,
behind the sound, the music, everything was like we knew it. Yeah, we knew how we were thinking. We knew what we want. What we want. We knew what we want to bring, which sound we want to bring up.
yeah, because of course that the influence are that, and like you said, you wanted to be a musician like that musician that you listened when you were a kid. You wanted to be that type of rocker, and
Mm,
also because since the first album was released in 2022, and like you said, you kind of met all of the let's say formed the Dimitri Keski band in 2019 around. So
mm, mm.
for 2022, what was
Mm.
going on? I mean, you were performing covers, or just you started working on the first album?
No, we were actually we were uh, uh, I was as a guest
Okay.
uh, at the concert. Yeah, the guy I mentioned, Danny,
Yeah.
he's he's over 80 now,
Okay.
and he did a huge tour in Finland, and
Okay.
he invited me to play a couple of songs. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So the manager who arranged that that tour, he came to me that I want to do a tour with you. So it was a perfect timing. We had my band, and there was this festival in Finland called Rock in the City. It was the
Yeah.
whole summer of 2019. So we started to write our own songs. So during that summer, we had songs that cover a whole album.
Whole album.
So after that summer, we went to the studio and recorded that album. But
So
we had no,
yeah,
but we had nobody who would release that. So in
it's
2022, we found one who
that's
released that and wanted us to do a second album also.
yeah, because that's it. I mean, because first of all, you got congratulations because you got to know, let's say, that the man you wanted to be
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not easy because if I think about it, I want to make Coverdale. It's not easy. It's not
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
So you had the chance. So first of all, congratulations because he wanted you.
Thank you.
That's like,
Thank you.
like a child. In this way, you're giving to kids kind of a
Yeah,
hope to say, do not stop dreaming
yeah,
because
yeah.
this things might happen.
But,
And
but, but that was yeah, it
then,
was a big honor because I remember when I was practicing guitar, when I
yeah,
was practicing that if I get to meet this guy,
why shouldn't
I
you?
will, I hope I can tell him how much he means to me and how much he has inspired me.
Yeah.
And then to stand on the same stage with him and play with him, it was a huge honor.
I mean, I
It was
think if
great.
you think that uh, 13, 12 years old kid
Yeah.
that was like with your eyes up to, I mean, could you even imagine that you would end to literally
No,
that man
no,
that was playing on the tape, you were that on the same.
he was like he was like yeah, like a hero to me. He is, but in a kind of way that you can't reach him, you can't see him, you can't talk to him. But
Yeah.
then one day he stands in front of me and asks me to join his tour. It was
That's amazing, and also that's amazing, and I think also this, like I said, it gives a lot to a lot of young kids that are going to listen to
Mhm.
this interview, gives them the hope because sometimes
Yes.
people lose hope of chasing their dream, especially in music
Mhm.
field, because it's not like the 70s and 80s that with one album you can make your living, but in some
Mm.
way you can still do it. And also
Yes.
another beautiful thing is that you mentioned that you with all the guys you already had the song prior to the recording of the
Mhm.
album, so you performed it live before. I mean,
Yes, that was,
yeah,
yeah.
that was also particular because usually it's the opposite. We record the song and then
Mhm. Yeah,
perform. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, so the songs were ready when we
yeah,
entered the studio. So it went like and the studios was perfect. It was like we could play, we could record live.
yeah.
We stood in the same room, so we had eye contact. So it was like on the gigs. So it was, yeah. I really liked the process of the recording. It was great.
And that's why, I mean, it took us almost 1 year to release the second album because once you got it,
Mm.
you had the chemistry.
Yeah,
Let's go with the number two.
yeah.
It's also,
And
of
the
course,
number two was
yeah,
it was a kind of different
okay,
because now we didn't play the songs live. We rehearsed them and then we went to the studio,
okay.
and after the studio we played them live. So it was the opposite of the first
So
one.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, and I think still now you're doing the same, like this, like recording and then perform.
Yeah. Now we are doing like pre-recordings,
Okay.
and then we listen to them, and then we go to the in May this
Oh,
year. In May, we're
okay.
going
So
to the studio to do the final record.
recording. So
Yeah.
and then okay, so we got a little bit of spoiler, but of course sound wise, because of course there is a maybe the different let's say musical background of you of all you.
Mm,
How does
yeah.
it let's say impact in the general ending sound of the first and the second album? I mean, how would
Mm.
you define the sound in your own word?
How I define the sound.
Yeah,
I always defined our sound. It's honest and it's warm.
it's
Uh, so we like to use because all of my heroes and some of the guys' heroes are from the 60s, the 70s, and the way they recorded during that time, it was like it was tube amps. It was nothing
yeah,
digital. All the effects were analog. So that's how I define it. It's true, it's honest, and it's warm,
yeah, and
and
that,
it have its roots in like
yeah,
early rock and roll, blues and rock and roll, 60s and
that's
the 70s.
yeah, because I mean people I mean we have like a lot of metal bands going on right now, so I think that this type of also the the 70s psychedelic music, the 60s 50s is the
Mm,
roots is the roots
mm,
are the roots of the music of today, of any metal band, of any rock band, of any genre, comes from
mm,
the from I don't know, Elvis, Johnny Cash, Fred
mm,
Astaire, even somehow. So it comes
mm,
from there. And of course, like
mm,
I want to ask if there are other eras aside from this Danny that you had growing up, like for example,
mm,
I don't know, from the 60s, 70s, even more contemporary.
mm, mm. Uh, what I think is really, really great with our band that we play this music, this style, but like Samuli, he's from the, you know, from the from the metal scene. So he brings his technique and he brings his type of playing to this style, and it's a
And
great it's a great mix.
it's
I really love it.
energetic. It's a really
Yeah, I call him. I have a nickname for him. He's
I'm gonna
yeah,
tell him. I'm gonna tell him after.
yeah. I call him Ronnie Todd, and Ronnie Todd was Elvis Presley's drummer on the 70s, and he was so uh, that's also a thing that influenced me. That Elvis played in the 70s. He had this concert, but he had a rock drummer, Ronnie Todd, who
Yeah,
played like like the guy from Muppet Show.
yeah. Because there is
And
technique, but there is
yeah,
technique, there is fun. Because I mean, you can combine the, like you're a good musician, you can play, you have the technique, but also you can have fun. You can bring the, let's say, the rock and roll. Because if
yeah,
you think
yeah.
about the rock and roll, let's say from the 70s, 80s, many people, the metalhead, they think about Lemmy, like the
Mm,
one they can't play because it's just
yeah,
and it's just having fun motorcycle, but
mm,
even the motorcycle were in the rock and roll era, so with Elvis, let's not
yeah,
forget the first Harley Davidson
no,
came from there. So
yeah, yeah,
so it's come from the roots, but that's a sound, your sound. I saw the video clip. I said that also I love the video clip you guys shooted and recorded, because it's a
yeah,
real, there's nothing fantasy or in
no,
some hidden lost place. It's just like
yeah,
natural, like on the
yeah,
rehearsal room. So I like it
yeah,
that you keep this reality, like the life of every day.
yeah, yeah. And that's how it started, and that's how we want it to continue. The love for the
Yeah,
music
yeah,
is there. That's the most important,
yeah,
and everything that comes with that is a bonus. So we get to record or we get to go to
yeah.
a gig or something. That's just bonus because we are doing something we really love to
Yeah.
do. Mm.
And lyric wise, what is mainly that you like to face to talk in your lyrics? Like let's
Mm.
say, I don't want to say like concept album, like because that's for me.
Mm.
But if there is a story behind your song, or if it's just life experience,
Mm. If it had, do you mean that if I have to choose like a?
No, like in general, like all the songs about that you write, like what is your inspiration, what mainly they
Oh, yeah,
talk
yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's mostly it's either something that I've experienced
Okay.
or something that someone who I know
Okay.
who's going through something,
Okay.
and then that inspires me to write about it,
Wow.
how I see it and
Yeah.
how I've heard it.
Yeah.
That's the most. But then there's also like I listen a lot to Thin Lizzy, and Thin Lizzy has these lyrics about, yeah, we
Yeah,
guys are
we
down
have to
now.
make a small mention here just to remind that poor John Sykes. Okay, could you
Yeah,
rest in
yeah,
peace?
yeah.
Just
He's been,
what amazing guitarist. I like that you thank someone knows still Lizzy because I don't get the chance to interview a musician that has this background all the time.
yeah,
So I came from the 70s, 80s hard rock. So for me, you're speaking my language.
yeah.
Until Lizzy,
Yeah,
that
but
yeah,
yeah. So I listen to Thin Lizzy a lot, and
yeah.
when I lived in Sweden, there was this Phil Lynott a tribute every year, every January, the first week in January, and I just yeah, I love everything about Thin Lizzy. So some of my lyrics are inspired from that,
Yeah,
like if we're going to a
yeah.
gig and something happens on the way, so I write a story about it, and
That's
then I put
beautiful.
it, yeah,
And it's kind of also what reminds me also like this way of writing lyrics that of course still exists because you're doing it, other songwriter I'm might doing it, but it has a, I don't know if you ever read about it, this book. It's about, like Kerouac, Jack Kerouac book On the Road, like that
mm,
book that is written literally on the road. That remind me of
yeah,
that. And that was one of the main writer they gave the, the beat generation gave
mm,
that start. So you have
yeah,
that sound, that there is this kind of Jack Kerouac vibe in your music, and I
yeah,
like
yeah,
it because it's a lot
yeah,
about rock and roll, but but in a clean way. That's something really like in a clean and
mm,
positive way, not get destroy, get drunk, break the wall, break the law. Really like in a positive way. That's what I mean.
yeah, in a positive way, and
Yeah,
I have I sometimes I try to
yeah,
make up make a lyric. I try.
yeah,
Sometimes I try like, but I notice very early on that yeah, it's not gonna happen if I just try. The
yeah.
story come come to me from somewhere, or
Yeah.
that I have to feel something that I have really hard to come up with like a fantasy lyric.
Can you imagine
There
what
are,
a fantasy lyrics about in your music?
yeah, but no, but I mean like
Yeah,
space and time and blah
yeah,
blah blah. Yeah, the universe, and I really like those kind of lyrics.
yeah,
Like for example, like yeah, and, Rainbow.
yeah. Of
Uh,
course.
Rainbow have like fantasy lyrics, and
Class.
some Deep Purple songs like Burn or Stormbringer.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
mentioned one of my favorite songs of the Purple Burn because of Mr. Coverdale being in there.
yeah, and I really like I really like the lyrics. I like
Yeah,
Dio's lyrics. They are wow. But every
voice.
time I try to make a lyric like that, I know like that's not me. I can't do that. I only write lyrics that I yeah that I personally
And I think
experienced
yeah,
or
and
yeah.
I think Dimitri, this is in a kind of in a kind of way. This is a also it's a, I don't want to say it's better because it might sound a little bit like, oh, it's better. No, because all lyrics could be poetry, even if settled in space or in medieval times. But I think
Mm,
everyday's life and personal experience is the easiest way for people
mm,
to literally feel your music and
mm.
see themselves in your music, because
Yeah,
maybe what you go through another person went through. So it's a good way and a fastest way to people to connect, because if I
Yeah.
like the music, and I can easily connect myself also with the lyrics. And also you can even dance. That's the beauty of
Yeah.
music. You can even dance with your. I mean, why we always have to stay like this and watch them? We have to dance
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. And that's the fun thing with our band also. When we write a song, we just write a song, and
Yeah.
it becomes what it becomes. When we start writing a song, we don't say that, okay, now we're gonna write a rock song. Now it's gonna rock, you know.
You
We
don't.
just write a song, and it's just becomes a song, and either it's good or either it's bad. So
I mean, I'm your videos are amazing, the music. I saw even sometimes some snapshot of some of your live that someone recorded
yeah,
and sent it. Like also you did a cover of Born to Be Wild. I think it's some
yeah, yeah.
live, and it was amazing. I mean, it's you that's a way that you guys have of like that reminds that those 50s, 60s, let's say heroes to put the people literally in their mind. And we need, and I think music needs kind of more bands like this, because give you a smile instead of all
Yeah,
the time sadness.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's good, but if I came back home tired from job, I put the music, and I want to maybe even alone dance around the house, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think with both the first album and the second, it's something that you can. And also, I mean, you're not perfect. If you would be in Sicily, I know for sure that you will be hired for playing in a motorcycle event. That's for sure.
Oh,
Because
that would be great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the type of music that here in Sicily that they put it with a motorcycle event, for example. Here in this way, they maybe sing metal band.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of course, who are bikers? It's people coming from like coming from that music, especially in Italy. So it's especially in Sicily, because if you have a little bit of idea of Sicily, you know that we're a little bit stuck in time in the past. So
Yeah, yeah. Here in Finland, we play in Lahti.
okay,
Here's a motorcycle museum.
really,
Yeah, and every summer they ask us to come and play there
I
because
knew it.
yeah, because I don't know if it's strange, but in some kind of strange way, our music, those who listen to our music, they
Yes,
either they drive bicycles or drive
we're
cars. Yeah,
with your music, like I don't know, Harley Davidson, the glide, the electro glide with your music on. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's cool. I mean, of course, I mean, you have to buy an Harley Davidson. Then you have to have. I don't know if you have it. You should, like,
yeah.
but
I, I I have a Harley Davidson on my bucket list. You know, I have to.
and then make
Yeah.
but yeah, but then if you start to do video clip, maybe with Harley Davidson, maybe you ended up to be like Motley Crue. So then let's stick with the old ones, maybe also the Indians, the old ones. Let's say
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
And of course, I mean, outside out there might be people not knowing Dimitri Kieski band. If we want to say to these people to just listen one or two songs to get
Hmm?
to get to know your music better, which song would you recommend to these people?
Well, I would recommend from our first album,
Okay,
maybe the first song,
okay,
"Born in Valhalla,"
okay,
because it's about a song. It's about me. It's about my roots. I'm born in Sweden, in Märsta, and there's an area in Märsta that's called Valsta. It's
okay.
like Valhalla, you know,
Hello.
and the whole town is every street is named after
Okay.
Viking gods and Viking soldiers and blah blah blah. So that song is about my roots, where I'm from,
Beautiful.
uh, and I really like everyone is in their like element. Like
Yeah.
Samuli plays really good, and Hansky plays really good. So that yeah, that's one, and maybe a song called "Rocket."
Okay.
Yeah, it's a riffy song.
Okay. It's
It has
catchy.
a great energy, and we love to play when we
Like,
We play live. Yeah.
And about before ending the interview, just to say, of course, like you mentioned, there is gonna be, let's say, the album somewhere around this year. You have some live show planned also, like around, I don't know, Finland, already planned for 2025 that you can say, of course. Like
sorry, what plans?
If you have some live show already booked
live shows,
for 2020,
yeah.
that you can say, of course.
Yeah. We have a couple of like not huge, but they're like rock festivals here in Finland, booked this summer.
Okay.
So we have to, Samuli has Skorpiklani.
Yeah.
And I'm involved with some projects.
Okay.
We have to, we have to like make our schedules.
Of course.
Like so we can do so. This year we are like focusing on the third album and the shows we have in Finland this summer that we're doing them.
I mean, people can buy your music album, of course. It's physical copy and digital, I guess.
Yeah, it's on CD and it's on vinyl also. Yeah.
They can find it.
Sorry?
They can find it on the website, social media.
Yeah. It's on Finnish recorded album websites.
Okay.
Like, but if you Google like our band, the Dimitri Keiski Band, or CD, so it comes up easily.
Okay. And
and we have been playing in Finland and also in Sweden a couple of times, and it really maybe 2026 maybe come down south to Europe. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Because the music is there, the sound is there, and I think it's good. And I'm doing this. I liked immediately when Samuli sent me that. What is this sound? I never heard you playing that. What is that? I like it. I'm into it. So I like, because I came from this music like you, so I can get it. It gives you happiness, gives you a better, it gives you a positive mood and lights a little bit up the life.
Yeah.
Also for Picani, also a lot of them, but it's without metal. I'm not that much into metal, so.
But it's funny you mentioned Coverdale a couple of times.
Yeah.
Coverdale is a huge. I'm a huge Coverdale fan. I really love stuff.
I got that. I interviewed everyone on Whitesnake. Even Rudy Sarso, Doug Aldrich, Joel Orchestra, Michele Luppi, everyone except the drummer. It's impossible. If I got him, I swear I'm gonna call you. We're gonna host the interview.
Yeah.
So consider yourself booked, because I even got to interview Miljenko Matijevic. It's from another band I love, Still Art, but my main band is Whitesnake. So I need this voice. Is before, they already are retired a little bit, but before they disappear completely, I want to ask to the man of Burn and Still of the Night. So why he wrote Still, like those questions that you have. So I will keep you up to date if this will happen.
Great.
It's a promise.
Yeah.
You can count on that, Dimitri.
Thank you. Great.
So it was really a pleasure meeting you, and I wish you all the fun, and I know that you will have. And it was a really pleasure meeting you. And
you too.
Have a beautiful rest of the day. And of course, let's make another interview when the album is gonna be ready.
Perfect.
Bring all the Dimitri Keiski Band. It's gonna be a mess, but it's
great.
Okay.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Dimitri. Have a good.
Nice to meet you too. Take care.
You too. Bye.